We are talking about knee tracking. So let's get started. As I said, you're going to need 2 blocks. You're going to need a strap. You're going to need a wall space or a chair. Do I wish that I wore shorts for this class? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Everybody settle down, settle down, settle down now. Hold on a minute. So sorry. My tech crew didn't show up today, so it's just me. Yeah, so I do wish I'd worn shorts, but I didn't. I did not do that. And if you even have a mirror nearby, that would be handy for you to see yourself. Okay. The other thing I want to make mention of is that I have 2 different size blocks, and I think most people probably have the bigger one, but I also have a smaller one. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to be using the smaller block today for some of it and the bigger block for some of it. I know some of you don't have all those sorts of props. You could always find out the 2 skinny ones, or instead of using the block when we use the wall, you could use a folded up blanket or even a thinner book. Okay. So that is the plan. The first thing I want us to do is what we call the Papa squat. That means we're going to sit down on the bottom. Okay. So come on down to the bottom, and we're going to just take our legs on a blanket or a block. And as I said, if I had shorts on, which would have been a great move, I'd be able to see my knees. If you can, pull your pants up so that you can see your knees. It's important to be able to track and just look and see what's going on down there. Do you have a kneecap that sort of moves out? Do you have a kneecap that moves in? What's going on with those, what I call the dangling earrings, those flippy flops at the bottom there? What is the shape of your leg? Now you hang there, and I'm going to stand up again. Some of you will notice that you have your bottom bone kind of leans out a little bit. We call it bow-legged, right? Where the legs sort of bow out right there. That might be you. Some of you might feel like you have more of a knocking of a knee, where the knees come in. And whatever it is going on for you, I just want you to think about what is happening. So these are our thighs, right? These are the femur bones going into the knee and down to the shin. These bones have to be tracking, in a way that's, I like to think of being on skis, standing right on top of each other, but different habits and different ways of our muscles make our legs do different shapes. So part of what would be nice in a mirror is for you to see what shape you have so that you know how to align. So today's class, enter at your own risk. I'm going to give you different things to do, but you really do need to know what your legs are already doing in order for you to discover more. So if you're here, you could, as we did in our other class the other day, you lift the heels and drop, lift the heels and drop. So we're activating the muscles of the legs just to notice. Keep watching those traction actions. And I do recommend saying that a couple times. It's super fun. Traction, action, traction, action, traction, action, track. It's fun. It's fun to say. One more. Beautiful. And let's take that off. So that is what I'm wanting us to notice. Now let's come to what's called Dandasana. And most of us will be sitting on something, either a bolster if you have a big pillow nearby, or your blocks. And again, you're watching this line. Just watching it, letting the legs flop out, engaging, letting them flop out, engaging. Some of you have a bowing in the knee. So you stay where you are. I'm going to show you something else. From the side, some of you, your knee bends backward. I can't do it, but it bows out this way. And that would be most of your weight is in the heels. We call it locking of the knees or bowing of the knees. And if that's something you can see in the mirror, then I would like you to keep a soft bend as we work today. So instead of letting it do that, we want to always keep a soft bend. Some of you do it in the elbows too, but that's a different class. All right. Okay, just keeping an eye on what's going on. And then we will begin. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to come to a standing position. And the first thing we're going to do is take one of our blocks on the mat, and we're going to stand it up to the medium level, low, medium, high, right? Low, medium, high. We're going to put it on the medium level, and we're going to squeeze gently sort of the base of the big toe. So this inner big toe area. I don't want to call it heels pulling out, but you could almost imagine that your heels are spreading away from each other a little bit. I want to make sure you can see me on Instagram. So I'm scoochy over here. Now, as that's happening, again, we don't want to have the bowing of the knees. We want to have the knees with a soft bend for those of you who do feel like you bow. Otherwise, those of us who can lift up those quadriceps, really lift up those kneecaps, engaging those muscles, and just holding here for a moment. Feeling that inner leg, feeling what's happening there. What's going on? What's going on? Okay. So this is a really nice thing to practice every day, right? Just turning ourselves on, noticing where in the feet our weight is. Are we in the heels? Are we in the toes? Are we in the outer feet? Just noticing all that. All right, let's go one step a little further. Go ahead and put your pants on, right? Put your pants on. Right between the knee and ankle, and then scooch over here again and go back. I'd like you to explore how tight the strap is. I'm putting mine pretty tight, not that tight. And I just want to feel again this traction, the squeezing of the big toes. And now I'm popping open the strap. So I'm doing two things at once. I'm scissoring my big toes together, right? Balancing between the front and the back side of my foot. And I'm spreading my shins apart. I'm not clenching through my bottom. Turn around so you can see that. Just still standing up nice and tall, still in that strong mountain pose, still activating those quadriceps, not jutting forward at all. Just noticing that. Turning that on. Right? Okay, now we're going to go and either take another block, or if you only have one, you'll have to scooch up, and we're going to put it between our knees. Okay, if you need to make any adjustments in the strap for you to get the best bang for your buck, I want you to make the adjustments there. Same thing here. We're squeezing through the big toes, slight little heel spreading apart, just a tiny bit, hardly noticeable. Squeezing in through the knees, and then popping the strap. Now, if you had shorts on or you had a mirror, we would want the patellas, those kneecaps, to be facing directly forward. Oftentimes we have one knee that splays out a little bit. So this idea here is that we're trying to turn those, what are they, headlights straight forward. So you could even bend your knees a little bit, get those knees squeezing, feel that traction action. There's that fun word again, traction action happening here as you're strong and powerful in the leg line. So we'll go 5 more breaths. Feels good, feels like freeing, right? Takes a lot of the pressure out of the hinges of the hips and the ankles and the knees, just lifting, activating. 2 more deep breaths. Feel it? And very nice. We're going to take that off. We're going to take off the strap, toss it aside. We're going to do one more round here. We're going to imagine that we still have the strap. We're going to use our imagination, and we're going to put the blocks back to where they were. This time, though, the block is going to go up into the inner thigh. I'm imagining I still have one between the knees. I still have this one between my feet. right? And we're focusing how wide are the feet going to be about as wide as the hips. Depending upon your block, and if you're in the mirror, you might decide that you want to open wider because your hips are bigger than mine. Or as I said, maybe you would even want to have a different block width. So you would have to play around with that, okay? Here we go. So now we're squeezing the inner thighs, rotating those kneecaps forward, activating those quadriceps, hands on hips. Pull those toes together, spread those knees apart. Turn the corners of your mouth up, little smile. Just feel yourself popping open that strap. Again, standing in that mountain pose, nice and strong. About 5 more breaths. Just feel what you're engaging here. Two. And beautiful. Let's take all of it away. All of it away. And let's pretend it's still there. Okay, pretend it's still there. And let's do our mountain pose here. Here we go. 5 to 8 breaths, lifting up those lower abdominal muscles, engaging here, strong and powerful. Ears are level, shoulders are level, ribs are level, hips are level, knees are level, ankles are level. Activate those inner legs. Where is the weight of your body? Where is your perineum pointing? That pelvic floor, is it pointing behind you? Is it pointing down? Beautiful. Keep going. We do this same thing when we're in a tree pose. You're still feeling that, those inner legs pulling in. We do it in the warrior 3. That idea, this idea that we're talking about is in every pose we do, right? That hugging in. So that's what we're learning. Okay. Now we're going to grab another block, or as I said, if the big thick block is too big for you, you could use a blanket. Part of knee misalignment is tight calves. So not only have we looked at the muscles of the knee in the other class, now we're looking at where the knee is positioning. We're going to spend the last part of this little tutorial here on the calves. No, these are the calves being tight. So one of the things we can do is put our hands on a chair or a table or a wall, put the ball mound of the toes up on the block. So my heel is on the ground and my toes are here. And we could do a big intense stretch. The other thing, if you're working a little bit deeper, is you could take both of the blocks, both of the feet, and play with that cat-cow tilt in the pelvis. So your what is this? Your pelvis is finding a tilt. That's a deep stretch through the calf. Oh, my right leg is much tighter. So we're going to just find a level, one leg at a time, if that works for you. 5 breaths on each side, or if you can do both calves at the same time for 10 breaths, we'll stay there. Here we go. It's all in the tilt of the pelvis too. If you're someone who bows the knees, who has locked knees, you're going to keep a soft bend here. If you're doing both legs, you can feel that imaginary hugging that midline that we just worked on, popping the imaginary strap and squeezing the inner thighs and the inner knees together. I posted a quote by St. Augustine today. The reward of patience is patience. The reward of patience is patience. Right? Yeah. About 5 more breaths. Two. And I hope you switched legs. If you didn't, you're going to need to switch now. Everyone else, we're going to stop. We're going to come out. We're going to pretend that we still have those blocks and strap around us. If you're doing the other leg, you're doing the other leg. Everybody who's down here with me, we're going to go into what we call Arda Uttanasan. So you're still having that imagination that the legs are doing their thing. They're still squeezing in and squeezing out. You're just feeling that length. You could even feel that from the arch of the foot all the way to the inner groin, right? This energy from here all the way up to the inner groin is like a lifting you up here. This is moving down and this is moving up. So feel that as you're moving here, almost from the arch of the foot, inner ankle, inner knee, inner groin, floating like a helium balloon to the sky, outer hips, outer knees, outer ankles dropping down. So balancing that energy. Let's go 3 more breaths. Two. Beautiful. Now, if you have knee pain today, maybe you will not do this next exercise. Maybe you will be complete for today. You could do a little dance the night away to end your class if you want, or you're going to grab a blanket, or you could roll up another yoga mat, something that's kind of firm, very tight. We're going to go to Virasana and we're going to use this prop to smush the calves so we can just stir them up a little bit. They get super duper tight, as you probably noticed. So we want to be using this roll here to just bring some pressure there to stir it up. So I'm going to take the roll, the yoga mat or the blanket right in the middle of my calves. And again, if you have knee pain, this may not be good for you. If you need to, you could always sit on something so that you're not going as deeply as I will. But everybody else, we're just going to sit down. We're going to sit down on it. Okay, get it up there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. That's what we're talking about. So we'll stay here. You could lean forward in like a modified child's pose if you wanted to. You could sit up. You could do a little bit of everything. And we'll hold for about 8 breaths. Stir it up. Even here in our kneeling, we want to have that thigh bone and that shin bone in line. So we have our knees and ankles the same distance apart. Our kneecaps are still looking forward. Notice that I'm rocking side to side. It feels like it gets down in there a little bit deeper. Maybe you are too. Maybe you're going to rock up and down. Just using these sequences here to benefit you, not just to perform them. There's so many rewards in here. The reward of sitting in discomfort brings you comfort. You can feel it just release. About 3 more breaths. We'll stay a little bit longer. Okay. So if that is serving you, stay where you are. If you're ready to move out, go ahead and find your child's pose and stretch out the knees or do anything you want to sort of stir it up and finish it up. But that is our tutorial today. And I hope you got a little something you can take away. Practice that. Practice those things every day. Maybe even while you're waiting for a yoga class to start, you could practice some of those alignment cues. Definitely recommend doing it in the mirror. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for keeping those knees healthy. Bye.